Let's talk about how you can get an activity explosion from a big event. You don't want to be like all the other dummies. They just go to these things and then they come back home. So here's what most people do. They're like, whoo, whoop-de-ding-dong-doo. We got a convention. We're going to have, special people. We've got got speakers. My people are going to be so excited. What they're going to do is come back and whoop-de-doo. They're just going to explode with activity because they'll have new ideas in their head. And whoo, I just can't wait to drag my people there, have them at the convention, and I am looking forward to this great flood of money that's going to come in from all this activity I have. And what they're doing is they are blowing it. You don't want to blow it. You don't want to be the one who's blowing it because you're assuming things. It's funny how I've seen people do this for 30 years. They just assume. They assume their people are going to do things. They're going to assume they realize, no, we're not going to go here. We're not going to see Justin Bieber, Bobby. We're going to see, this is not a concert. This is business. Ideas are not going to pop into your stupid head. You're going to have to pay attention. You're going to actually have to write things down if you want to remember it. Nobody remembers it because it was a great thing. You remember what you write down. So you have a tape recorder with you? Do you have you ready to take notes? Do you have people, do you have a list of things that you want to get from this thing? What are you missing now? Do you know what are the missing things in your business that you get confused about, that you get beat on? So you got to have yourself, you got to be prepared mentally. You don't go to the library and wander around looking at books and try and find one that just jumps out at you, or wander around the library, spend 8 hours in there, and then walk out and say, I didn't learn anything. That's supposed to be where all the smart people hang out and read all their stuff. You got to go dig. You got to be smarter than that. So let's take another look at this thing. How can we go to these big events and make them, the goal of going is what happens after they leave. You don't want to be flatlined. You don't want to go in. What a lot of people do, they go in. The people expected magic to happen. You get some magic dust or something. They come back and they say, oh, my life hasn't not really changed because they're not doing anything different. And then they go into an even worse production and eventually they quit. That's not what you want. What you want to have is an activity explosion, because activity is what produces. And if you don't have the activity, you're not going to have the results, not going to have the income. So you're over here, you want to be like a grandmaster in chess player. The grandmasters play the game, they have a strategy, they think several moves ahead. They actually do the same thing in checkers. So you're thinking, if you're over here, you're thinking all the way over, boom, 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 boom. Let's see, what can I do to make this explosion happen after they come out of that meeting? So you're planning ahead, planning several moves. So you're talking, again, let your people know this is not a concert. You're not going in to laugh, to cry, to cheer, to clap, to take pictures, get autographs, and go home and not have learned anything. You're there to learn. You're there to compress time frames. If you do this thing right, these big events where you get exposure to other people, other ideas, a lot of top people, you can compress 6 months of normal work into 1 week or 1 weekend of insights, ideas. But since it's so dense, that's what happens. Big events gives you a dense, compressed exposure to things you can use, ideas, answers. But you got to write them down. You got to be smarter. Because what you want to be is in, so let's just say a crowd. Let's just say there's 100 people there. There's probably going to be 1,000 or sometimes 10,000, sometimes 50,000. But out of every 100 people there, you want to train your people to say, don't you want to be in the top 1 percentile of the people who get the biggest jump in income coming out of the convention? Yes, you do. So that's what, but you have to put that idea in their mind. See, that's how you make your money. That's what a leader is. You're not a babysitter. You're supposed to be the leader, the coach. You're supposed to challenge them. So what are things you tell them going in? You tell them, one thing is you can tell them, don't get overwhelmed. These are the don'ts. Not overwhelmed. Don't be blown away. You're going to see people have been, especially the people who are on stage, they've been doing it, 5, 10 times longer than you. Of course they're going to be better. That doesn't mean when they started, they might have been worse than you. By the time you've been in as long as they have, you'll probably be better. You got a chance anyway to be better than. So do not get overwhelmed just by comparing yourself to the people that are on the stage. What you do is you want to learn from them. Don't get sidetracked. Don't get sidetracked. You get it with one game plan and then you hear some great idea here, great idea there, and you come back with bits and pieces of 40 different ideas. Okay? And again, you don't treat it like a vacation. And you don't just walk around in circles. Make your mind up. Ask your upline, your manager, people who have been there before, to introduce, meet people. Make it happen. Use this time to ask questions to people. Sometimes the greatest learning happens in the hallways. And use this as the secret of success is that the do's are meet the special people. Meet the big leaders. Ask questions. Go ahead and ask that question. Sometimes you're one little confusion away from an explosion. If you hear something you don't understand it, ask. No one's going to come in. Nobody knows what you don't understand. But use this chance, and maybe somebody there can explain something you've asked the people locally, and they haven't been able to get it through to you. Maybe asking the same question to someone at a distance, the light bulb will go on for you. And see, there is a secret. You want to take advantage of this. The secret is, the more time you spend around people at the top, see, if you spend time around, more time you can spend around people at the top, listening to them, talking to them, meeting them, here's what happens. That's the fastest way to become one of those people. You know why? Because greatness, you hear this all the time, greatness is caught, not taught. And for you to pick up those intangibles, you have to be near the people. You have to be around them. And this is your opportunity. These people are not coming to your office. This is your chance to rub shoulders with them and pick up some of those things. All right? All of that is number one. Now here is number two. Number one is prepare. Prepare your team. Number two is when you get back home, you decide to be the MVP. Here's the other thing the mediocre managers do. What they do is they take their people to the meeting, and then they come back and wait and see if some of their people are going to catch on fire and do anything great. But the people are like sheep. You're the shepherd. They need an example to follow. So what you need to do is when you come back home, like here we come back home, we've got 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, especially the first month or two, you can't solve all of these things. You can't deal with the whole rest of the year. It's great to have a great game plan. You got to have, make sure you got a game plan. You got a target of greatness. Make sure your people have a target to shoot for. And the thing is, be the MVP leading the charge. Plan on be the one that they can follow. Of course you're teaching, of course you're coaching, but give them an example. Don't wait for one of them to become the example. You get out in front. because you know how fast your team is capable of running. You know how much time is left. You're the leader. You're the trained one. You've got the insight, the experience, the vision. So you need to make up your mind to be the MVP. You need to have a big goal to shoot for. That way they can get their own little goals to shoot for, and they can get busy going after all their targets coming in behind you. But if you don't have a big goal, you haven't made up your mind to be the MVP and go for it, guess what? Nothing's going to happen. You're going to be like the blind leading the blind, going nowhere. They want to see that you're a person, you're on a mission, you got a purpose. But by you doing it like this, that allows them, you're telling them things, but you're also showing them. This gets them on the attack. You never win anything unless you're aggressive. You can't wait for life to come to you. You've got to get out and go looking for your answer. But because you've got a goal and because you're the MVP, now they can see that's going to give them confidence to be aggressive themselves because they see you aggressive. They're going to see you charging, attacking. And this allows now, because you're out in front, pulling everybody forward, this allows you to have that unity. Because it takes the slack out of the rope. If you're not moving forward, that creates a slack for them to wander off in any kind of a direction. And when you're unified, you have power. And you got your power and everything going in the direction. You not only have them working, but you have them working in the direction that you want them to go in. So here's the deal. You're going to a big event. You got the big event, you're going to come out. Here's what we've said. Number one, prepare. Don't assume. Prepare for greatness. And then when you come back, plan to be the MVP. Have a big goal, a big team goal, and then you plan to be the MVP, leading the charge out front, giving them direction and giving them encouragement and making it easy for them to fall in line and stay unified behind you. That's the way you get the biggest activity explosion from a big event, rather than just to have no impact on your business, which is what happens to most people. You got any better ideas on that? You have any great results from that? Let me know. Let me hear from you.